Hello everyone, in this lecture I am going to explain a well-known movement, feminism, but if you are new to my channel then please like the video and subscribe the channel. Without wasting the time, let's start it. What is feminism? Feminism is a movement which focuses on addressing and challenging the inequalities and injustices faced by women and other marginalized genders. What does it mean? It means that it is nothing but it is a movement which started in response to the widespread inequalities and injustices that women faced in various aspects of life, including legal rights, social status, economic opportunities, and personal freedoms. You should keep in mind that historically, women were often treated as second-class citizens, with limited rights and autonomy. They were excluded from voting, owning property, accessing education, and participating in many professional fields. Women were expected to fulfill traditional roles centered around the home and family, with little opportunity to shape their own lives or influence society. It is obvious that preventing someone from voting, access to education, and participating in professional field is injustice because every individual has basic rights. And you cannot snatch from them. If we do so, that is injustice. So this injustice faced by women, and they started to demand their legal rights. Now we call it feminism. I think you are not getting the point. Let me tell you the main points of this movement. The first point is women's rights. This is the main and important point of feminism. It means that feminism historically centers on addressing the specific inequalities and injustices faced by women, including rights to education, employment, political participation, and personal autonomy. In other words, you can say that this movement was started due to injustice with women. Basically, many fundamental rights of women were snatched, like they were not allowed to get education. And they were also not allowed to give services as an employers, and even they were not allowed to participate in politics. Participating in politics was a great deal, even they were not allowed to cast their votes. Consequently, they started the movement to achieve their basic rights. The next main point is critique of patriarchy. This is another challenge which women faced very much. By this point, it means that it critiques the patriarchal structures in society that prioritize male power and authority, leading to the marginalization and oppression of women and other genders. In simple words, you can say that patriarchy is a social system where men hold primary power and predominate in roles of political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, and control of property, and the women are deprived from such legal rights. So this movement was against this approach and practice. In other words, you can say that feminism is a movement that challenges this system. It advocates for gender equality, seeking to dismantle patriarchal structures and give women equal rights and opportunities. This is simply called patriarchal practice or approach. The next point is economic independence. This is another important point that you should keep in mind, that feminism fights for equal pay, equal access to job opportunities, and the elimination of gender-based discrimination in the workplace. Basically, it has been widely accepted that for centuries, women have been economically dependent on men, whether fathers, husbands, or male relatives. So this movement challenges this by advocating for equal pay, access to education and employment, and financial literacy for women. Economic independence is seen as crucial for women to gain control over their lives and achieve equality with men. If it seems to you difficult, let me tell you that by this point it means that women were economically dependent on others, and this movement demanded that women should not be dependent on others and they should be allowed to be independent. Resistance to violence. This is another point you should keep in mind, that this movement worked to end all forms of violence against women, including domestic violence, harassment, rape, and trafficking. Basically, the feminist movement has made resistance to violence against women a central focus, recognizing that such violence is both a symptom and a tool of patriarchal control and gender inequality. Actually, violence against women is a global issue that manifests in various forms, including domestic violence, harassment, and human trafficking. Feminists advocate for systemic changes to prevent violence, support survivors, and hold perpetrators accountable. In simple words, you can say that it was their mission to resist any type of violence against women. There must be question in your mind that how this theory is connected with English literature. Let me clarify this question as well. Basically, feminist criticism involves analyzing texts through a feminist lens, focusing on how literature challenges gender roles, stereotypes, and power dynamics. In other words, you can say, feminist critics examine how women are represented in literature, exploring themes such as patriarchy, oppression, and the female experience. Actually, feminists in literature seek to convey a wide range of messages and themes, primarily centered around challenging traditional gender norms, advocating for equality, and giving voice to women's experiences. They use literature as a tool to advocate for gender equality, highlighting the need for equal rights, opportunities, and treatment for all genders. They critique societal structures that perpetuate gender inequality and seek to promote social justice by exposing and challenging these inequities. You should keep in mind that a central aim of feminist literature is to bring women's voices and experiences to the forefront. Feminists convey the diverse realities of women's lives, exploring themes such as identity, motherhood, and work. They seek to break the silence around issues that have historically been marginalized or ignored in mainstream literature. Actually, the aim of this movement was to aware people about the injustice happening with women, so they had used many ways to convey the message to people, so feminist writers also used literature as a tool of conveying the message of the oppressed women. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture, but please don't forget like and subscription to my channel.